part 2 of my guitars and stories about them. The Nuno Bettencourt N4 made by Washburn. Okay, so this guitar, here's the story really fast. Obviously, I'm a fan of Nuno Bettencourt. Pornography was an album that really spoke to me as a child. I really love the percussive kind of... I hadn't recognized at that age what it was that was attracting me to the album, but it was really the fact that even though he was a lead player, he was really just a phenomenal metal rhythm player. So he did a lot of cool stuff, and so I wanted one of his guitars. I got an NX3, which is a Korean one. Loved it so much, I sold it and got the N4 American. My addiction started with the fact that I ended up at one point owning 9 at one time. Padauk and, ash and alder and then colors. And what led me to this issue was I got a custom one called the Wrap. It was this cool paint job, and the paint job started coming off. And so I sanded down to natural and kept that for a little while. And then I got a second one, and when I got a second one, I was very excited, and I got rid of all the guitars except for one, the custom painted one, and it started acting up, and that really upset me, right, because it was a really long process to sand the other one down, right, and I lost a ton on it selling it, because, I had to tell everybody, like, yeah, it's a natural one, but it's because I sanded it down from the paint. So, long story short, I really always wanted a Steve Vai Swirl 7-string, and I kept thinking about it, and then I contacted the Atomic Guitar Works. There's a guy there named Tim who does their work. He's amazing. And I said, hey, Tim, have you ever done a swirl dip guitar before? And he said, no. And I said, well, you can watch him dip it on YouTube. So he watched the video on YouTube, and he goes, I'll give it a try. So I gave him the body, and he dipped it, and he did fantastic. I mean, look at that. So he dipped it, and then I put in custom pickups. These are custom pickups. Maybe I see we're not going. This is a set. The neck is really, believe it or not, it's a 78. It's called the Custom 78. I forgot what I had to do different to it too. And then this one is a JB custom mix. I don't know, something weird again too. I had them do. These are both custom pickups that I had them do in this crazy hot pink and then I got a old school Ibanez yellow knob and strap to trick it out. Somebody asked me yesterday why is all the covers off the back of my guitars. It's because I make adjustments and stuff when I mess around with them. I repair guitars all day, and sometimes when I'm playing a guitar, if it doesn't play right, I just want to make the adjustment. I don't want to spend some time with it. This one is 9-gauge strings, half step down, so that's why I'm only using 2 springs. And I use these spring silencer foam things. That's why they don't make noise. I'm going to do a video about that. I have a trick that if you don't like the way you hear springs, I know a trick. They make foam silencers, but I'll show you how to do it for free. Okay, which means, you don't need any money to do it. Okay, so very cool guitar, right? It's got the German Schaller Floyd on it. Obviously the custom paint job now. I had them leave the neck and everything untreated. In other words, just the way it is. I didn't want to do anything to the neck. And if you haven't seen one of these, by the way, it has this weird bolt-on system. It's why I'm addicted to it. See, it's got this cool feel right there. This one is signed by Nuno. I have met Nuno 2 or 3 times for sure. Once at a backstage thing, once at a NAMM show dealer clinic thing, and then once again at a backstage thing. At a party actually with Disturbed and his band. His band was called Drama Gods at the House of Blues at an open bar thing. Believe it or not, for Schecter guitars. It was kind of weird. So anyways, so this is the Nuno, and this is how it ended up with the swirl paint job. Obviously, it's awesome. I love it because to me, it's like an homage to Steve Vai and Nuno Bettencourt. It's like 2 guitar players I think are cool, and I made a guitar that's basically for the both of them. This is my 2015 Tim Shaw Strat in Blurple, which we already know is not Blurple. It's some kind of cool, amazing, metallic-y blue that my understanding is discontinued. It's off the catalogs this from 2016. It is 100% stock except for the pearl pickguard. Woo. So I had that, and of course my strap. Oh, and locking keys. You know, right? So locking keys. I put locking keys on everything I can. Boy, what a great way and fast to restring a guitar. So there's nothing amazingly spectacular other than the Tim Shaw pickup, which I've done the review of. In this collection, this guitar was picked because it was light, it looked cool, it played good. The neck is 10-inch radius. That's another thing I should point out. When I was checking it, I kept playing it, and I get drawn to it. So when they sanded it, it's like they sanded it a little flat. It's just a little flatter than the normal 9.5. Obviously not done intentionally, but it's just a little flat as a fretboard. It feels good. I just like the way these guitars feel and look. You know, with the Tim Shaw pickups, Strat's just always a welcome home kind of feeling for me. I just pick it up and play. Whenever I'm feeling kind of like, I'm not trying to play anything in particular, I just want a nice guitar, I grab a Strat. To me, I can just sit on the neck pickup for hours and just play kind of, So, cool guitar, like I said, nothing super spectacular, unfortunately, about a Strat, other than the cool color, Tim Shaw pickup, and like I said, no mods, other than what, Fender had done, which is cool. Oh, and of course, no back cover because I make adjustments. This one's got 9 hybrids and it's tuned to standard, so it's got 3 springs. So, all right. So this is my Custom 24 in I want to say black gold wrap is what it's called. Black gold wrap. It is beautiful. It is not a tin top. It is just gorgeous. If you guys have seen some of the reviews I've done, I've explained on the PRSs about the tin tops and how they really don't equate to a whole lot. In fact, they don't equate to anything. So keep that in mind. Okay, so this guitar is a guitar that in 2011, believe it or not, my wife suggested to Paul Reed Smith, she said, hey, to Paul, she said, how come you don't do any custom options? It's just PRS and then right to private stock. And he said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, how come all these guitars are so expensive, but you can't change anything on them, right, until you get to private stock? She's like, $3,000, you think you should be able to change some stuff. So that, and she said, I'm sure people would even pay for it if you do it. So they experimented with the idea for $200 you could change colors and change ideas. So we ordered some for the store. This is one. So this is black gold, but it's a wrap. So the wrap is unique. Usually when you see black gold, it's not in the wrap or whatever. So that was what's special about it. So we ordered this guitar, came in the store. This is why the story's funny. And there was 4 of them. They were all gorgeous. This was the prettiest one of the bunch, though. It was just cool. And everybody would talk about how great it was. And then when we sold the 3 before it was the last one, like an adoption agency. It was the last unadopted guitar. And everybody kept walking in saying how great it was and then throwing crazy offers at it. And so eventually my wife was like, for the prices they're asking, throwing off, I'll just buy it. So she bought it, put it in the closet, and it sat there for about a year, maybe longer, maybe a year and a half. And then one night, for some reason, I pulled it out of the closet. I had a Custom 22 that I played all the time. I pulled it out of the closet, I played it, and I just fell in love. So I kept it and sold the 22. Which now my buddy Nathan owns the Custom 22. The funny story on the 22 is that it's a 10 top and it's painted. So it's kind of an odd guitar that I had PRS do. Some weird deal. They threw in a 10 top for free, so I said, okay, we'll paint it. Because I wanted to paint a guitar. I didn't tell them up front I wanted to paint a guitar. They said, we'll do a 10 top for you because you're a dealer. And I said, cool, I want it painted. And they go, oh, well then no 10 top. And I'm like, oh, no. You said free 10 top, do the pretty top. So they painted it, but they left the side so you could see how pretty the 10 top is from the side. because I knew deep down they don't really have to pay for the tin tops, they just pick them. So I'm like, well, pick me a top, it doesn't cost you anything. So I did it. And that was a guitar I played forever until this one. And then for the record, I love custom 24s and 22s. Those are the two guitars I like from PRS, and the Miro, of course. But we'll get to the Miro later. All right, guys, next guitar. All right, so this one is another custom 24. This brings me to two things. This is a tin top. It's got the little tin on there. I know I say I don't really dig the tin tops. I did not pick this because it's a tin top. This is an easy story. It goes like this. My buddy Jimmy said, hey, can you get guitars? Can you get a PRS Custom 24 and Ezra Verde? Ezra Verde. I'm probably saying it wrong. I don't care. And Ezra Verde. Green. Can you get me green? So I said yes. The new green that they were doing at the time had dark green back, and he liked how this was green on top. And it reminds me of like a golf course. Like somebody just cut a section of the golf course, and then this is like the sand, and then this is the mud, and this is the grass. That's what it looks like to me. Anyways. So I emailed my rep, and he said, you know, they don't make it anymore, but we have one. It's a tin top, and it's the last of it, and you know, it's a great deal. You should get it, you know, right? So I emailed him back, and I said, yeah, they got one. Believe it or not, they have it, and it's amazing. It's light, and it's perfect, and it's got this pretty top, right? And everything's cool about it. And he said, too much money for my blood. And I stared at that picture for like all day, and by the end of the day, I'm like. So I emailed the rep and said, yeah, send it. So got it. All right, my Alvarez 1992 Dana Scoop in custom painted silver. This is Snow White silver? I don't know. It's got silver, but I think it's pearl added to it. Pearl finish added to it. That's why it's got that kind of cool look. It's really silvery. It's got some. So here's the story on this guitar. I think I've already told the story, so I'll tell it fast. I had got a smartphone, my first smartphone, about 5-6 years ago, right? When they first came out, I got one, and I was, my wife and I were picking up my daughter somewhere, and I was in the car as a passenger, and I was looking on eBay, and I found this Scoop, and I was like, oh, another Scoop. So I go, I'm gonna buy it, and it said, the guy said mint condition. I looked at the picture, it was red one, it looked cool, and I hit buy for 400 bucks. I go, 400 bucks, I have to buy that. So I bought it, and so it came, and when I opened it up, it was red, and it had red flame decals all over it. And then somebody took a brush, a paintbrush, and brushed lacquer all over it. And I was like, what the heck is this? So I go to the picture on the computer, and yep, you can see that it's red decal flames on a red guitar, and there's no mention of it. And I'm like, what? And I didn't see it because the picture was so small. So I thought about, you know, emailing the guy back saying, why didn't you say this description? But I decided, I'm like, you know what, maybe this is an opportunity. So here's what I had done. At Atomic Guitar Works, 10 Minute Atomic again, sand it down, and paint it silver. And then my buddy Darren, because I do refrets and he does refrets, my buddy Darren Mahoney from Mahoney Guitars, he refretted the neck for me. Because I like sometimes not do it myself. It's kind of like painting your own house. Sometimes you'd rather have somebody else do it, so you don't, right? Just so he refretted this for me. So he put a refret on it, which was cool. New frets. I went with the jumbo frets. And then I put in these cool Spurzle locking, or no, not Spurzle locking, Spurzle tuners with these glass doors so you can see inside the gear mechanisms, kind of cool. So I basically tricked it out. And then another buddy of mine, I think I said this in another video, gave me this Wolfgang pickup, and his name's Joe. And so Joe gave me this Wolfgang pickup, and I put it in here. And then this is a little 59. And then I got these cool knobs for it that are shallow. See how low they are? So this guitar is now totally tricked out, right? By the way, the back cover's on the back. Probably because this bridge is locked down. I have it pinned and locked, so it doesn't move. I never play it. In fact, you can hear the dirt in the clear. And then when I play it, I go, oh, why don't I play this? But I never play it. Although I used to have, when I used to I used to be in a metal band for a short time. I had one of these in red, they hated it because it was 80s looking and we were not an 80s band. But I used to love it because I could take my hand right here through this access point and I would do this thing where I'd be like... So when I was young, I could do it fast. I mean, literally just stick it in there and do that, which they hated too, by the way. I thought it was cheesy. I mean, now I think it's cheesy. At the time, I thought it was cool. All right, another scoop. I know what I said. If you see two guitars, they're fighting. Well, they are fighting. They've just been fighting for about 5 years. Okay, so the red scoop. So this is where it started for me, was with the red scoop. So basically, Sticks and Strings down in Tucson, Arizona, when I was in there one day, I had been playing guitar for a little while now, and they had one of these, and I was mesmerized. I don't know why. I think it just because I just couldn't get around this. Like, I thought this was so cool. I never seen that. And especially since I was really into guitar, of course, right off the bat. So I was like every guitar magazine, everything, looking everywhere, right? Catalogs. I would mail the $3. Remember when you had to mail $3 to a company to send them to send you your catalogs because you had to pay their postage, right? Do you remember that? That's where I got all these catalogs. I used to pay for catalogs. In fact, one of the coolest things was Guitar Center back in the day when they were really cool, would always have those bins for catalogs, and they would, right, and you'd walk in when you're leaving, you could take catalogs. I would go to Guitar Center just to buy some picks and some strings and some stuff, just so I could take about 10 catalogs and not feel like, you know, right, like I feel like I was a customer. Anyways, and I would just live in them. And so when I saw this, I was like, what is this? Now, you can Google the story all day long. Obviously, it's an easy story. This was called the gash guitar. In other words, they were routering a pickup hole, and it caught a knot, and it ripped a chunk out, and then they messed with it. The designer of it, Dana Sutcliffe, and long story short, he got agreement with Alvarez, and they made this guitar. It's a cool story. I'm not going to tell you because it's not about this guitar. This guitar, though, here's what's funny about this guitar. This guitar, so I got this, and I thought it was cool, but like I said, 80s was dead, and my band thought it was horrible, so I didn't get to play it very often. And then I had a party at my house one night, and the next morning the guitar was missing. It got stolen. So what happened was, because I was at a gig the night before, it was in a case in the garage, and somebody had left out of the garage. And the garage, I thought, well, the garage was open, somebody must have wanted it and took it. But it's such a unique guitar, so here's what I did. I took, I had a picture of it. I took a picture of it, and I Xerox copied it at my local copy, house place. And I made all these flyers, and I did a reward for $200. And I put them everywhere. I actually drove to every pawn shop, and I told the pawn shops, hey, if you get this guitar, I'll give you $200. I just went to every music store, and I told everybody, $200. I want this guitar back. And what happened was I got a phone call, because my number's on it, and the guy says, hey, I have the guitar. My friend took it. He was at your party, and when he was walking out of your garage, he just grabbed the case and walked out. And he goes, but I'll take it from him and return it to you for the $200. So I said, yeah. So he brought it to the house. He comes to the house, and when he shows up, it's funny is I told him, I said, okay, let me see the guitar, and he said, okay, you got my $200. I said, yeah, but to give you the $200, I totally made this up. It was awesome. I said, to give you the $200, I need your driver's license information because I got turned into the police, because it's part of the evidence chain now. And then he was like, oh, well, I don't have my ID with me. And I said, well, I can't give you the $200. Right, unless you give me the information, right? And so he goes, you know what, just keep the guitar, and then he left. So I got it back. I got it back. You know what I liked about this guitar? I think that's why I'm stuck with it too. There's no guitar that I know of that no one could sell or pawn back in the day when there was no internet or nothing. I mean, there was just no, right? Not like today where you could, right? But it was just so unique, right? No one had one, right? When I had one, no one had one. I mean, no one has them now. But nobody had one. So that's why I have a red one. So this is the red one. So this is it. And I replaced the pickups with Seymour Douglas. So that's my story of my stolen guitar that I got back.